Welcome back. All right, so this is the matchup between the team that can win in overtime or shootouts and the one that can't. And no cheating. Guess which one it is. So this was the game that it looked good if you're a Dallas fan, and then it didn't. And if you're a Nashville fan, I don't know. Like, does David Poyle look at this team right now and say, without Roman Yossi, these guys still look like they might go on a bit of a run? If we can get Yossi back, maybe I don't need to tear this down. Which can be worst case scenario if you're a fan, where you're looking at a team that needs to make changes, and then the team gets hot for a while, and the GM goes, "We're fine." That can be the worst case scenario, because it can hide problems for a while. All right, so it's Rene versus Hudobin in this one. Hudobin I thought played well, and Rene he really is quite good. And of course, we all think back to the meme of he's just too good right now. But there's a reason that meme was created, because he was for a while there too good. And Como and Cogliano were in. Rope Hintz was out. Nick Camano out. So you get the FCC line back together. Not for the whole game, but we'll get into that. So, first minute, there was nearly one handed off to Trennan. Don't give Trennan the puck right in front of the net and let him have a goal. So thankfully Trennan didn't seem to be anticipating that. Kiviranta and Trennan then had a collision. The game was pretty physical early. And it would be physical the whole way through. The shots were only 2-1 for the Stars at 5 minutes. And over their last 3 games, Nashville had only seen a combined goals of 10 in those games. So Nashville games usually are not high-scoring affairs. However, Gardner scores his first from Lindell and Kiro at 9:02. So Kiro manages to stay on the score sheet, and maybe he gets more games. With the amount of injuries that Dallas goes through, yeah, probably. And then Foxa scores from Robertson and Alexiak at 10:21. And there you go. There's the game. Right? No, it's Dallas. It's never the game. Delay game call right after that. Power play for the Predators, and Ryan Johansson gets the power play marker from Ekholm and Tolvanen at 10:51. And yeah, right off the face-off, they get that in the net, and it's 2-1. Stars then got a power play. The Preds penalty was actually in the Stars zone. You don't want to see players taking penalties in the offensive zone. And the Stars' power play coming into this against Nashville, and they talk about this every game, was 9 for 15. Tonight it did not score. It was not really a big deal. So the Preds killed it off. The Stars were completely unable to set it up. Kiviranta had a shot that was blocked. Rene snagged it right out of the air. So it was blocked by the defenseman, and then it flipped up into the air, and Ranta did like a fair catch underneath it. Hudobin then made a play behind the net that nearly went really bad, and it led to the Predators getting a press out of that, and then the Stars had to ice it. But they come out of the first period with a 2-1 lead, and probably wiping some sweat off their brow, going, "Boy, it's a good thing that the Trennan turnover and the Hudobin play behind the net, those things didn't come back to haunt us." Second period, Pavelski in the first minute had a shot that was deflected wide. The Predators press about 6.5 minutes in. No shots, though, so they're not getting shots through at this point. Physical, defensive game had broken out at this stage. Those 3 goals over a period of less than 2 minutes, forget that. That's done. That's a different game. And for the most part, it's a different game from there on. Rene robbed Gurianov at the net. He was the one keeping it 2-1. Cousins with the wraparound that was gloved by Hudobin. Forsberg passes it to himself and draws a power play. And it was one of those where you lob it up and over and you kind of pass it to yourself. And Forsberg was feeling it tonight, and he had been in a cold streak. I think they said he was 5 games without a point coming into tonight. Well, come on into Dallas. We'll make you feel better about yourself. That draws a power play. It's killed off. Alexiak with some blocks during that penalty kill, and then and Foxa with some blocks. We'll talk about it. Delandria then scores from Klingberg and Pavelski at 13:02, and it was a double deflection. So no chance for Rene on that one. And it's 3-1 at that stage. Stars then had a 3-on-2, which just failed to connect. Stars then get their second power play. Rene made some big stops during that. Kiviranta nearly got a rebound, but it's killed off. And then at 17:54, Nashville makes it a 1-goal game. Forsberg from Johansson and Tolvanen. And they reviewed it. The review did say it was a good goal. There was no distinct kicking motion. You could see right away there was no kick there. And as Daryl Ray said, he thinks that kicking a puck into the net shouldn't be a big deal, but he understands the NHL doesn't allow it because they don't want guys with their sharp blades going in and having a kicking party in around the crease and in around a goaltender. That's a bad look, and we don't want that. So, yeah, makes sense. Story checks out. Last 30 seconds, the Stars had a couple of chances, but they came out of the second period 3-2, and it didn't feel that secure to me. Because I've watched Dallas this year enough to know that, yes, they're at the NHL 500 mark, but they've only won 10 out of 27 games. Tonight's game 28. All those games they've had in hand, they're kind of not winning them. That's the key thing. Oh, we played 7 less games. Are you going to win them? No, but we've played less games. All right, well, that's an interesting strategy. So Faksa was out. He had blocked 2 shots in the second period. And honestly, if Radek Faksa's out, that is a major loss for the Dallas Stars. There's so much he does. I know he's not on the score sheet a lot, but there's so much he does to keep things together that that'd be an issue for Dallas if they're without him for a while. The Stars trying to trap this one out. And as soon as I saw the way they were playing the third period, I thought, man, you guys need to attack a little bit more. That desperation, like I keep waiting for that desperation with Dallas, and I'm not really getting that impression. And yes, there's a lot of players injured, but it's the National Hockey League. There's a lot of teams dealing with injuries. And as they kept saying, so I'm watching Daryl Ray, so I'm watching the Dallas feed. We can't make excuses for who's out of our lineup because we're against Nashville. And Nashville's got a lot of problems with injuries too. So I will say they were fair that way, that they weren't using the Dallas injuries as an excuse because of the fact Nashville's also been just decimated by injuries. And then, so there was a press by the Stars, yielded no shots. Smart play tonight by Robertson, the Stars rookie that I know some Stars fans would like to see get more play for the Calder. I don't see him as a Calder Trophy guy, but I think he's going to develop into a very good National Hockey League player. I don't know what the ceiling exactly is there, but I think he's going to be pretty good. I am more excited about Robertson than I've ever been about Gurianov. So just throwing that out there. And then Johansson gets a goal, but it doesn't count, as the whistle had went before he got it in. Hudobin did not have the puck. The puck squirted out. The referee figures Hudobin's got it and blows the whistle. That was a break, and I thought, okay, that's a break, Dallas. That's a sign you're blowing the game. You're in danger here of blowing this one and ending up with a loss against a team you need to beat if you're going to get closer to a playoff spot. So the Predators pressed with 8.5 minutes left. The Stars had some chances that followed. Sakura with a chance as well. He thinks he's an offensive player all of a sudden. But then at 14:15, Tolvanen scores from Harper. It was a bad Stars turnover, and that may have been changed since I wrote that down. It may end up being Forsberg's goal. May have been tipped by Forsberg in front of the net. And yeah, it tied up the game. And then the Stars gave it away again. So giveaways and turnovers for the Stars tonight were a problem, and they were in full meltdown. The Preds make the comeback. They get the point. And again, Dallas just didn't have enough moxie to their game. They need to show that killer instinct. It wasn't there. Third, in the overtime, early puck control to the Preds. Then Dallas gets it, but it was a tentative OT overall. Klingberg hits the post, and that's how their luck has gone this year. Post for Klingberg. And then Rinne made a stop against Klingberg with about 10 seconds left in the overtime, and that was the only shot Dallas managed. So they had the puck, not getting the shots through, which is a testament to Nashville's defensive setup and the fact that this is how overtimes are starting to get played by certain teams, where they're kind of it almost looks like they're playing for the shootout. It does, and yet that doesn't make any sense. You would think that a team would want to win it in overtime and not leave it to what essentially is more of a coin flip than overtime, right? And no, this goes to a shootout. In the shootout, round 5, Järnkrok gets the winner. And I knew he was going to win it. I wrote it on the board before he did it. As soon as I heard Järnkrok, I went, round 5, Järnkrok with the winner, because I had seen how this game had gone, and I thought Järnkrok's going to bury it, and he did. And so kudos to Yarncroke for that. Nashville goes to 14-7 and 17-1 with the win. I keep trying to pull off 10 of their losses. I must like Nashville. 14-17-1. Almost said 14-7-1. Dallas 10-10-8 with the loss. And they're 1-5 in shootouts. So if they miss the playoffs by a few points, not being able to win these in shootouts, while we may view them as ties, and I do, not getting that extra point is really submarining their chances right now. If they had, say, 3 shootout points that they don't have, if they'd won 3 of the shootouts that they've actually lost, we'd be having a whole different conversation right now with Dallas. But we're not. So yeah, the shots in this one: 11-7 Dallas in the first, 11-8 Dallas in the second, only 7-6 Dallas in the third. Both teams had 1 shot in the overtime. Final shots: 30-22 for Dallas. Nashville 1 for 2 on the power play. Dallas 0 for 2. Pecorine, 27 saves on 30 shots. Very good game for him. Hudobin, 19 saves on 22 shots. I'm not going to throw this on him, but Ottinger does have better numbers. And so, again, when Bishop comes, if Bishop comes back, if he ever comes back, then Dallas has something to think about when it comes to their goaltending. But for right now, it's not really a problem. They have other problems, such as being 10-10-8. They're going to end up 10-10-10, aren't they? It's where they're aiming. They like that, equal record, 10-10-10. Then they can just come out and do the 10, the old Ty Dillinger thing. All right, anyways, there you go. Nashville with the extra point. They go to 14-17-1, as I said. And again, does David Poile now have to pause and think about this because Nashville's record's getting better? Or does Nashville still sell at the deadline? What do you think happens? Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.